Today I am going to deliver a lecture on the topic forms of primitive religion, that is animism, animatism and monism, fetishism and totemism. Religion is a supernaturalism that consists of a system of belief, thought and action. It lies in the core of all primitive and civilized culture. Religion seeks to interpret and control man's relation to the forces of his physical and social environment. The attempt to interpret man's relations to these forces has led to several forms of religion like animism, animatism and monism, fetishism and totemism. A brief explanation of these forms is necessary in order to clarify the concept of religion. Animism is generally the doctrine that some vital principle or some kind of soul produces the living phenomena of organized bodies and yet exists apart from those bodies. Edward Burnett Tylor, in his book Primitive Culture, 1871, defined animism as the belief in spiritual beings and the basis of all religions. In his book, he sought the evolution of religion from animism to monotheism through polytheism. Spirits are the ethereal embodiment without real flesh and blood. Although spirits are non-material, they are real enough for those who believe in them. Primitives use different names to refer those spirits. Ghost, goblin, genii, trolls, fairy, witch, demon, devil, angel, and even God. A spirit does not obey the laws of nature and can transcend matter, time and space. This makes the spirits wonderful and mysterious, and therefore they have been regarded as supernatural. According to Edward Burnett Tylor, all primitive people recognize some sort of subtle invisible matter inside each living body which initiates the activities of the individual. The unseen subtle matter is regarded as power and termed as soul or anima. As the dead people often come in the dreams with lifelike appearance, souls are considered as indestructible and eternal. After leaving the body, they become spirits and begin to dwell in certain places or things and wander anywhere without restriction. This concept of soul is the root of animism. Edward Burnett Tylor considered the belief in spirit or invisible soul or self as an inevitable result of a universal phenomenon such as dream. He asserted that the primitive man could hardly explain a dream in which he had certain actual experiences. Primitive man believed in two kinds of souls, body soul or the fixed soul, and the free soul or the shadow. The body soul animates the body and pervades the whole of it, whereas the free soul, being independent of the body, can come out of the body and wander in different places. When it departs the body forever, the man dies. The dead person, distant relatives, next door neighbor, ferocious animals, etc., appear in dreams and trances because the soul interacts with them. However, a man goes on sleeping until the free soul comes back to the body to awake him. Free soul can easily be captured, and injuries are created when these souls are affected. The primitive man seems to be very anxious with the ultimately departed immortal body soul, which can harm the living people. There is hardly any primitive group who does not care for his soul, but the ideas regarding the size and shape of his soul differ from region to region. Among the Lakhers of Assam, the soul resembles the original body in appearance and size. The Thadau Kukis of Manipur consider the soul as a minute replica of the individual. The idea is same to their Naga neighbor of Manipur and Naga hills. Sema Nagas view the soul as shadow and reflection of the body. The Senchus of Hyderabad know that the souls turn to mortal world immediately after death. Todas of Nilgiri hills hold as opposite view. Despite the differences, animism, however, has been universally accepted as the essence of primitive religion. A few scholars criticized E. V. Tyler's theory of animism. According to them, the theory of animism was too critical and that it did not deal with the emotional content of religion. Professor Max Muller postulated a pre-animism stage where the spirits were not supposed to be only those of the dead man. Rather, each or every object was considered to have a life, and so all of them were the animate living objects. In other words, animatism refers to the belief in anything or anybody who is animate or endowed with life, and that life is considered to have a supernatural power of force. Max Muller has shown that the earliest form of religion consisted of the worship of various objects in nature. Being perplexed, they ascribed life to the lifeless things and corrected the unseen source of power with God. An example of animatism is found in the tribes of Bihar. They considered the bones, beads, stones, and feathers to have magical and living powers, and considered stones to be the children of Mother Earth and worshipped them. More recently, Professor R. Marret explained the situation with a specialized form of animatist theory called Manaism. Mana is a Melanesian term meaning power. According to him, primitive people throughout the world believe in the existence of an impersonal power, non-material supernatural power, which belongs to all objects, animate and inanimate. It resides beyond the reach of physical sense, but is manifested as a physical force. All objects in the nature possess it in greater or lesser degree. R. H. Codrington's publication in 1891 of a work on Melanesian religion attracted considerably scholarly attention and had important influence on subsequent interpretations of primitive religion. He pointed out that mana is a force altogether distinct from physical power which acts in all kinds of ways for good and evil and which is of the greatest advantage to possess or control. Ghosts of the dead and spirits of many kinds had mana. Mana was highly communicable and could be drawn from and imparted to objects and men. Any extraordinary aptitude of men can be explained in terms of mana. In Polynesia, where there were traditionally elaborate systems of rank, mana was often used as a direct measure of social position. High-ranking individuals might in fact possess so much mana. Any success in life is considered as a blessing for mana. In Polynesia, the master craftsman is able to show his excellence because he possesses mana. The weapon with which a mighty warrior wins a battle is also a favor of mana. An outstanding healer, an expert canoeman, and every successful man possess the power of mana in the background. The causes of failure are counted as a loss of mana. Any misfortune in the kingdom, like outbreak of epidemic disease, famine, etc., is believed to be caused due to loss of mana on the part of the king. Ideas similar to mana are found all over the world, though they are sometimes called by different names. For example, the American Indians recognize a similar power known as Orenda. The Iroquois call it Wakan, and the Algonquin Red Indians call it Manitou. Some Indian tribes, namely Santals, Mundas, and Hos, designate the power as Bonga. This mysterious force not only influences man and other living beings, but it can also act on non-living objects like sun, moon, mountains, rivers, rocks, and seas. Fetishism has been defined both as religion and as magic. In its origin, it is the most primitive form of religion. It refers to an object called fetish, such as a stone, shell, necklace, or a piece of carved stone, which is believed to have a power, personal or impersonal, and be capable of helping its possessor. The word fetish is derived from the Portuguese fetico, something made and was used by the early Portuguese to denote the charms and images of African people. Though the Portuguese explorers used this term to refer to the wooden images of the West African Negroes, the term is not necessarily restricted to denote artificial things. A leaf, a feather, a horn, a stone, or any such thing of unusual shape is treasured and adored in exactly the same way as a carved figure. On the other hand, in the very area where the phenomena was first observed, the most elaborate image is merely a work of art until a magician has consecrated it by tracing a particular kind of paint into one opening or crooning a spell over it. That is to say, the service of power may be impersonal, vested in an unintelligible way in paints, words, or technique used. Fetish is an object imbued with ritual potency, often surrounded with taboos and conferring material benefits upon its keeper. It adores objects with supernatural or mystical powers for good or evil. The person who possesses the fetish can ward off bad luck and will have good fortunes. The fetish is therefore adored, placated, insulted, or ill-treated according to its behavior, whether it fulfills or does not fulfill its possessor's wish. Hence, fetishism is nothing but the adoration of material things because of their mysterious power. Totemism is an extension of fetishism. A totem is a species of animal or plant, or part of an animal or plant, or a natural object or phenomenon, or the symbol of any of these which signifies distinguishing feature of human group, similarly represented in the same society. According to James George Frazer, a totem is a class of material objects which a savage regards with superstitious respect, believing that there exists between him and every member of the clan an intimate and altogether a special relation. The concept of totemism has not been satisfactorily defined. However, it could be said that according to the theory of totemism, a tribe is supposed to be related to an object mainly animal or plant, towards which they behave in a reverent manner by adopting its name and offering sacrifices or adoring it. The totem usually belong to animal world, real or imaginary, and a few belongs to the vegetable world. According to Emile Durkheim, all religious belief must have emanated as a sort of collective representation of the society in the form of totemic symbols. He regarded the culture of Australian Aborigines as the crudest in the world, and using it as the representative of the ancient conditions of mankind, he saw in the Australian totemic ritual the earliest form of religion. He found 460 and 500 totemic names in southeastern Australia to be names for animals and plants. Only 40 were for inanimate objects such as the moon, stars, fire, smoke, and water. Members of the tribal group affiliate themselves with totem. It is associated with their organization and it becomes the name of the tribe. An image of the totemic spirit and the animal or plant with which the tribe identifies. The tribe, the spirit, and the animal are united in a trinity which cannot be separated into parts. Totemism appeared to be important to those societies in which it was found. It seemed to be important to be associated with the rule of exogamy between totemic groups. The relation that exists between the totem and the people is sometimes taken to be one of blood relationship. Hence, the totem has to be crossed in marriage. The killing or eating the group's totem or insulting it or using it for some purpose other than worshipping is tabooed. The totemic emblem are evolved with religious attitude and descent is traced through the totemic line. Totem may be a wolf, bear, turtle, hawk, fox, etc. Though totemism is universally found, it exhibits considerable variations. Religion acts as an internal controlling force for society and provides the people with morality. A religion can neither be defined in terms of a particular faith nor in terms of a particular God. In fact, there are a variety of religions and religious ideas. All religions essentially exhibit a mental attitude towards supernatural which is manifested in belief and rituals. The belief is considered as the static part of religion while ritual is the dynamic part. However, religious attitudes are universal in all known cultures, primitive and modern.